Nathan is absolutely fuming, tossing his phone to his bed. What the hell is this ending? Why is it an open ending? He should have gone for the harem. All girls are good. If he can't choose one, he should have gone for everyone. This is disappointing, and my day is ruined now. But his phone, instead of settling, bounces several times on the bed until it crashes into the wall.
Nathan's heart skips a beat. His day would become even worse if his screen cracked. No! Nathan rushes to the bed to check, only to get his shin hit the wooden frame. Ouch! Nathan hurriedly clutches his right shin, his eyes closing due to the throbbing pain.
But due to him raising his right leg, he loses his balance. His left foot skips a few times to counterbalance it, but his pinky toe bumps against the front leg of the bed. Tears leak out of the corner of his eyes as he ends up losing his balance. He tries his best to open his eyes, glancing at the spot where he would fall. However, his expectation betrays him again, as the only thing he sees is the sharp-pointed edge of his wooden table.
There is only one thought in his mind.
Why am I so unlucky?
He closes his eyes as if he accepts his fate. However, the supposed darkness from closing his eyes is replaced by a blinding white light.
What? Nathan is so disturbed by the light that he takes several steps back. Around him stand multiple men and women, who look like they are in their 15 or 16. What is his summon? Wait, look at that, above his head. Nathan feels unfamiliar with their words, but weirdly enough, he can understand them. Now that he thinks about it, his head feels so heavy. When he gets out of his initial shock, his pupils roll up, trying to see what is above his head. To his surprise, a wolf head covered in white fur tilts its head down, staring at him with his golden eyes.
A wolf cub? Nathan mutters.
Before he can react, laughter suddenly resounds from the left. It's actually a beast? What is this? A failure among failures? You can't even summon a goblin?
Nathan is completely clueless about what is actually going on. His forehead was supposed to hit that sharp edge, but when he recalls it, there is an excruciating pain not only from his forehead, but from all parts of his head. Nathan clutches his head while gritting his teeth. That guy is insane now. Nathan looks left and right before rushing to the door. He must be crying in tears. What a pathetic loser. The unknown guy keeps mocking him this whole time. However, Nathan can't be bothered with it. After all, the stinging pain actually comes with a lot of images in his mind. It is the story of a farmer boy who came to the capital city to attend the academy. Ignoring the construction of the hall he has never seen before in his life, Nathan simply searches for the toilet. As soon as he reaches the toilet, he just hides in the corner and closes the door.
Nathan tries to endure such agonizing pain for 5 minutes. He pants heavily. His eyes are blurry. What happened?
It seems that you are done. A heavy voice echoes from above his head. Huh? Nathan instinctively raises his head as a small wolf cub jumps off his head, landing smoothly on the ground. Who? Nathan feels like he is hallucinating as he sees a blue screen appearing out of thin air.
Name, Fenrir. Level 1. Race, Celestial Wolf. Quality, Basic, Low.
Why can I see the name of a wolf from Norse mythology? Nathan furrows his eyebrows.
Instead of me, you should focus on yourself.
And it can speak?
Just shut up for a minute and see what you got in your head. Fenrir opens its mouth, showing its fangs as if he is trying to threaten Nathan.
Nathan wants to speak, but ends up calming down. As Fenrir says, when he sees the memories that entered his mind, the entire picture becomes clearer.
He, Nathan, is the son of a farmer called Ethan.
One day, a man noticed that he had magical power inside his body called Ina. As a result, he was sent to the capital city to receive an education in the famous summoner academy, Phryxia. 300 years ago, this world was invaded by mysterious beings. Despite their valiant efforts, the humans were losing against them. However, these mysterious beings were also bringing another thing to this world. It was called Ina. When humanity was on the brink of defeat, people awakened a power that could summon beings from another world. For some reason, the summoned creatures were all humanoid creatures. The one known for being the lowest was none other than a goblin. There were some strong summoned creatures, such as werewolves, elves, or even dwarves. Still, it was said that the top summoners in this world were known to have summoned archangels or even divine beings. After reviewing all the memories he had, Nathan begins to calm down. He raises his head and asks, "Does this mean I've transmigrated to another world?" "No. By the way you spoke, you should have realized this fact as well."
It seems that you're not an idiot. Fenrir nods. Indeed, but what I got was just a glimpse of the world you were in. The rest was the knowledge your current body had.
In that case, why would I summon you? Nathan feels this is wrong. If all summoned creatures were supposed to be humanoid, why would he summon a divine beast? Isn't it because of you? Me? Nathan is bewildered. He contemplates for a second before gasping. Wait, do you mean because I came to this world? That's the only reason I can think of. Fenrir harumphs. Nathan thinks aloud. I guess because of his identity, he doesn't have a lot of knowledge about this summoner thing. And what is this academy? According to the memory, I seem to be taking an admission test.
It's split into two. The Summoner Awakening, which allows them to summon a creature from another world, and the written test. From the looks of it, unless I do something special, they won't take me in.
But if I want to learn more about this world, I need to be in this academy. In that case, the written test is my only way, except for the fact that I'm just a farmer. I know nothing. If I have summoned amazing beings, I would be let in even if I don't do anything in the written test. What should I do now?
Fenrir looks a bit surprised. When Nathan calms down, he notices that he is more reasonable to talk to. Still, there is one thing that needs to be corrected. What do you mean you don't summon an amazing being?
I'm the divine beast, Fenrir. What do you mean, an amazing being? Nathan stands up while pumping his fists. This is it. This is the romance. In this world where you can summon other beings, isn't it a perfect chance to create a harem?
Elf, vampire, or even an angel?
Fenrir's eyes twitch. He takes back his praises. You horny brat, those are just temporary. Do you want me to bite you? As he says those words, he pounces Nathan with his mouth wide open.
Aha! Stop it, you stupid dog with anger issue. I am a wolf. The teacher is standing in front of the vice principal of the school while sweating. For some reason, the vice principal has been staring at a single paper for the last 20 minutes. She is so absorbed that he feels something crazy would happen if he distracted her. After another 10 minutes, she raises her head, asking, Johan, who is this kid? May I know who you're speaking of, vice principal? This student called Nathan. The teacher raises his eyebrows in surprise. He is a farmer from the countryside. His body has a trace of Aina, so the one who spots him brings him to the capital city to take the test in the academy. A farmer? You seem to know him. I don't see you looking at the student's details. The way Johan spoke piqued her interest. He made a quite big impact after all. Not in a good way though. Ho? What did he do? He summoned an animal. The teacher looks away. Even he didn't know how to react when he saw an animal coming out. An animal? As in my original summon? No, a pure animal. The vice principal becomes even more curious. Bring him to see me. The teacher looks shocked. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of trick that student used to pique the vice principal's curiosity. At the same time, he has to ask about the fate of the other students. The vice principal discusses the incoming students, noting that this year brings a few particularly interesting individuals. She mentions Selena Ashton, the princess of Duke Ashton, who hails from the most renowned family of vampire creatures. Then there's August Reeves, the successor of the Blacksmith Guild, and Rudius Viti Liastian, the second prince of the Liastian kingdom, known for his exceptionally high ana. The vice principal snaps her fingers. All of a sudden, an elf named Alicia appears next to her. Alicia has long silver hair and wears an outfit similar to the vice principal's, as though she has gotten used to living in this world. Alicia. Give me a second. Alicia smiles. She scans the papers of all students and starts giving points to each of them. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to grade all the students. I'm done. Thank you. No worries. Call me anytime. Alicia winks before disappearing into thin air. Here you go. The vice principal hands the paper to Johann. This is the grade. However, wait until I meet this kid. Is there something wrong with this kid? Aha, the vice principal hums. I will have a talk with him first before deciding whether to let him remain as a normal farmer or not. The decision baffles Johann, but he has no choice but to agree. I understand. I'll bring him to you. Meanwhile, Nathan is sitting on a bench, away from other students. Fenrir is sitting next to him. So, do you think you can get enrolled here? Fenrir asks. I don't know. I've done my best, but I don't know if it will work or not. Nathan shrugs. I wonder what kind of work we can do outside. Does this world have an adventurer guild? That's the starting pack of an ice guy. See what? Your words confused me. Well, just think of it being summoned to another world by a god or goddesses. I wonder how strong they are. Can I fight them? Now that I think about it, I can't help but wonder what kind of knowledge you have in your head. For example, do you know that you are only one legend among many others? Do you mean there are other divine beasts and gods and goddesses? Fenrir's eyes brighten. Why do you look like you want to fight them? Nathan's eyebrows twitch. Besides, I want to summon another one. Preferably a woman. What if you end up summoning another divine BMFF? Fenrir's eyes widen as Nathan's 2 fingers shut his mouth. Shut up. Don't you jinx it, stupid dog. Nathan glares at him. Fenrir slips away from him and bites his hand. How dare you stop me from speaking, you horny brat. Besides, I'm a wolf. Ag. It's human abuse. Nathan struggles to break free. Despite his anger, the bite isn't that powerful. It seems that Fenrir controls his strength well, which is why Nathan is also acting casually toward him. While they are arguing, Nathan can't help but catch a glimpse of the female student seated next to him earlier. Aha! What? Fenrir stops for a second before getting annoyed again. I thought what could catch your attention turned out to be a woman. Are you going to confess to her right away? Flat rejection is what I'll get. Besides, look at her. What? I can't see anything different between her and other females. Tisk, TSK, TSK. Just look at her cold and aloof atmosphere, her beautiful appearance, and her indifference toward others. This girl has a heroine quality. You always talk as if we are inside a book. Have you ever imagined yourself getting injured or getting one of your limbs chopped off? This is your reality right now. Staying in this academy means that you will experience a lot of hardships. I know that. Nathan's expression turns solemn. I can't even hold the pain of getting hit in the shin or having your pinky toe bump against a bed's front leg. So I can't imagine what it feels like to get cut or shot. That's why I want to stay in this academy, learning more about it step by step so that I can survive in this world. Humph. You are pretty reasonable if we get rid of that annoying side of yours. Just get stronger. If you are strong enough, you can get any woman you want. Fenrir harumphs. right? Isn't that the main driving factor? It's said that if you have a driving factor, you can improve much faster. Looking at Nathan's smug face makes Fenrir want to bite him again. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the chance as the teacher actually comes to him. Student Nathan, please follow me to talk about your admission. Nathan and Fenrir can't help but smile inwardly. They know that the fish has taken the bait. Nathan enters the vice principal's room. Even he didn't expect to meet such a high-ranking person in this academy. But more importantly, he is able to witness the person who takes care of the academy, and she doesn't disappoint. The vice principal has a rather slender figure that is barely visible from the contour of her robe. Her eyes are filled with wisdom, giving a different type of charm. She gives a weird pressure that makes Nathan feel a bit nervous. Meanwhile, the vice principal takes a glimpse of the animal that Jason was talking about, which makes her even more curious. So you are student Nathan, the one who is said to summon an animal instead of a humanoid creature. The vice principal squints her eyes, giving a sense of oppression. Nathan takes a deep breath as if he were trying to calm his heart down. Yes. The vice principal shows his paper. The reason I call you is regarding your answers. It seems that you have a rather unique perspective. Nathan couldn't deny it since he came not from this world. Besides, his knowledge is limited as well. He had prepared a reply for this remark. I didn't know much, so I just wrote things I could think of from all the knowledge I currently had. I was just desperate. Desperate, huh? Could I ask you some questions to verify this was your thought? I couldn't help but doubt because it felt like your answers came from someone who studied this field for more than 20 years. I understand. Nathan still shows a sign of nervousness. On the one hand, there isn't any confirmation yet that he has been accepted. On the other hand, he has to act nervous since that is how a farmer would act if he met a high-ranking person. How about this first question? It doesn't seem that you don't have any basic knowledge about Aina. The vice principal comes to him. To have more than one summoned creature, you need to have more Aina. The vice principal comes with a candle and a knife. This knife represents the amount of Aina that you have in your body. If you summon a creature, it's the same as sacrificing that amount of Aina forever so that the summoned creature can stay in this world for as long as you are alive. The vice principal chops off half of the candle in one go. That's why the first summoned creature will be the most important, because it can determine the amount of Aina in your body. She continues, I'm not saying that it's the end for you if you don't have a powerful summoned creature, but to increase Aina, you need resources. Without any background, you can only rely on yourself to get that resource. With a weak summoned creature, going for that resource is basically suicide. Anyway, the stronger the summoned creatures you summon, the more Aina you sacrifice. In other words, you need to increase your Aina a lot before summoning your second creature, so that the one getting summoned will be stronger. The first question is asking about your thoughts about how much Aina you need to sacrifice. The other students in your class are giving estimates from 0.5 times of your original Aina to 100 times. However, your answer is making a generalization of the summoned creatures. Why do you think so? Johan is quite surprised by the answer. If he were the student, he would give the same answer as other students. Meanwhile, Nathan actually says, I think that your explanation has just confirmed my answer. Ho? Elaborate. If we need more Aina to summon a more powerful creature, it means that a certain creature requires a certain amount of Aina. If we can generalize the amount of Aina required to summon a certain creature, won't it give a higher chance for the summoner to call that creature? Nathan explains further. If that's the case, measuring Aina accurately will be very important, especially if it's in number. For example, if we buy a wooden spoon for 1 copper coin, we can buy silverware for 1 silver coin. The measurement of money is accurate, which reflects in quality. Meanwhile, his heart is beating rapidly as he screams inwardly, Hell yeah! I'm going to say every bit of rubbish I have in mind. However, it is actually pretty effective, judging from the vice principal's expression. Jason is behind him, so he couldn't see her stunned face. An accurate measurement device. The vice principal looks down for a moment before she laughs. Ha 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 ha. Nathan is confused about her reaction. Jason couldn't help but whisper. The vice principal sets 4 questions based on her research. The first question is among them. Ah, Nathan understands why she laughed. This woman actually believed all the gibberishes he came up with? Fenrir is dumbfounded as he remembers Nathan saying, "We fake it until we make it." He never thought it would be the case. The vice principal decides to change her approach. She turns to Jason and says, "I'm done confirming it. Post the result." "What about him?" Jason asks. "He will enroll in this academy." Jason nods. Even he thought that if the other answers were similar to what he heard, it wouldn't be wrong for him to join. If he somehow didn't become a good summoner, his way of thinking might result in 1 or 2 major breakthroughs in this field. "I'll take care of it immediately." Thank you very much." Nathan hurriedly thanks her since this means he could stay in a safe place for a while. However, the vice principal has another surprise for him. As soon as Jason exits the room, the vice principal walks to Nathan. "I'm the vice principal of this academy, Vivian Lorelei. I am Nathan." She just smiles. While extending her hand, she asks, "Nathan, do you want to be a student of mine?" "Student?" Nathan looks shocked, wondering if this is a dream or not. Even Fenrir couldn't contain his bewilderment. Did this guy just get her to protect him just from writing some bullshit? It's the teacher. He is bringing a big scroll. That must be the result. A buzz of anticipation fills the hall as students gather, eager to learn their fate. Some, confident in their performance, have already departed, but most remain, needing to confirm their results. Jason posts the result on the board before walking out of the room. Immediately, the students surge forward, a wave of bodies rushing to find their names. One student collapses to his knees, tears of joy streaming down his face. "Oh, I got accepted," he cries out. Nearby, another student is leaving in tears, heartbroken. "Why? I have done my best," she laments. Out of a total of 130 people, only 86 have made the cut. Jason glances back at the chaotic scene for a moment. He feels no particular emotion regarding their excitement. He's already witnessed the most ridiculous thing this enrollment period has to offer. Who would have thought that a student he'd pegged as a definite failure would end up becoming the vice principal's student? However, one person does catch his eye. The blonde-haired guy who relentlessly insulted Nathan. Jason recalls that this student is likely nobility. Is his father the lord of the territory that governs the land where Nathan came from? Maybe Jason should keep an eye on him. The only reason he doesn't think much of it is because of the blonde-haired guy's smug smile, as if he only cares about his own result, not Nathan's, leading Jason to believe the friction between them is small. With that thought, Jason continues walking away. Meanwhile, Nathan faces a task far more problematic than he ever imagined. Studying. He had thought that he would be reading books. Even though he wouldn't enjoy it, he had read a lot of novels, so he could bear reading study books. But what he didn't expect was his teacher actually teaching him directly. She's currently sitting on the table right in front of him, legs crossed, fixing her glasses. This is torture, Nathan thinks, shifting his gaze away, not knowing where to look. Vivian speaks, her voice calm. "You must be tired from all the tests. All students will have to spend their nights in their dorms. But that's only after their enrollment. You can go to your dorm right now, but since there is 1 week before the official enrollment, you will live with me." "Understood." Nathan nods. But before that, Vivian continues, raising 3 fingers. "I'll tell you 3 things about the summoners." She begins counting them off. First of all, we don't call summoned creatures as it is. We have to respect them as well, and call them either as familiars or their names. Secondly, as I have explained earlier, to summon a familiar you need Aina. However, that's not only the requirement. To a certain extent, we're able to summon a familiar that we want by using it. This is what we call sacrifice. For example, using a tree as a sacrifice and doing the summoning ritual inside a forest will give you a higher chance to summon an elf, a druid, or any other being living inside the forest. However, the first summon is different. We can't use a sacrifice because our body is the sacrifice for the first summon, which ultimately turns our body into a full-fledged summoner. Well, you may call it a beacon for other familiars to respond to our call. That's why it's a good measurement to check their talent from their first summon. Finally, she raises her last finger. Last but not least, even though your summons will be handling most of the battles, you have to learn some martial arts so that you can at least protect yourself. During this 1 week, I'll have my familiar teach you hand-to-hand combat. If you can endure it and keep working hard, I believe that you will become a great summoner. Nathan nods again, absorbing the information. Can I ask a question, teacher? Ask away. How many familiars can one have? And what will happen if they somehow die? Nathan asks, his gaze earnest. Vivian had anticipated the first question, but the second one catches her by surprise. There is no limit to how many familiars you can have, she explains. In the end, it's related to how much ana you have in your body. Remember my first lesson earlier? Yes. Everyone has their own style of summoner they envision. There is a scary man in the north that can summon 1,000,000 skeletons. There is a beast summoner in the east who fights alongside his familiar, who happens to be a draconian, a combination of both a human and a dragon. There is a great man in the central plane that has the support of an archangel. I see, Nathan says, contemplating this for a moment. Does that mean even if we're fighting someone, it will only be against their strongest familiar? Can't they summon the others? They can, Vivian clarifies, but in the end, if the power gap is too big, it simply makes no difference. But can't the familiars just get stronger? Nathan presses, seeking further understanding. The process will simply require a lot of resources, Vivian explains. Do you know why they receive our call? Nathan shakes his head, indicating he doesn't. Some are going because of goodwill, but some are here for the chance to become stronger. It's more complicated, so I'll teach you later. I understand, Nathan says, waving his hands slightly, implying that she can teach him when she has time. Vivian then addresses his second, more somber question. As for what will happen if they die, your connection will be lost forever and the ana you've sacrificed won't return to you. At the same time, there is no proof that they are dying as well. There's a possibility that they simply return to their world without any chance of going back. Oh, Nathan exclaims, a realization dawning on him. He nods slowly. It would be sad if they couldn't meet their partner anymore. But in the end, they were not the beings of this world. For now, read these 2 books. She hands him a rather thin book. It doesn't seem to be more than 100 pages. A task he believes he can finish within a week. Alicia. A sudden wind swirls next to Vivian. As it disperses, an elegant elven figure makes her appearance. Bring him back to the mansion. No, buy him some clothes first. Vivian amends her instruction. Sure. Alicia responds with a smile. She approaches Nathan and extends her hand. Let's go. Nathan nods as she leads him outside. Fenrir, who has been observing this entire time, can't help but think, this guy must be thinking how lucky he is. Alicia, sorry, is it appropriate to call you by your name? Nathan scratches the back of his head. You can call me or other familiars by our names, unless there's an agreement between you and the said familiar. Alicia explains, her voice sounding soothing. Is that so? Then, Alicia, is there a marriage between a human and a familiar? Nathan asks. There are. It's just that there won't be any child due to the difference in our races. Oh, Nathan doesn't know whether he has to be disappointed or not. He looks away while explaining. Sorry, It must be an inappropriate question. I couldn't help but ask it when I saw such a beautiful woman. Foo-foo, thank you. Alicia chuckles, somehow the atmosphere brightening around her. Still, I'm surprised that Mistress Vivian chose to get a disciple. There are numerous people who want to be her disciples, but she has never accepted anyone. Of course, this is a compliment. You must have a quality that she treasures dearly. Please don't look down on yourself. At the same time, don't be too complacent. If you want others to respect you, you have to earn it. It's not given just because you're Mistress Vivian's student. Understood? Yes. Nathan nods with a solemn expression. In that case, do you mind if I ask you a few more questions? Sure. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Nathan starts asking a few trivial questions. He can't be too direct and give away his identity as a transmigrator. At the same time, he is gradually learning about this world. At the school's main entrance, Selena Ashton is reading a book underneath a tree. She is the same student who ended up sitting next to Nathan during the test. Her focus is on the book when all of a sudden, a familiar voice distracts her. So that's how it is. She can't help but raise her head, looking at the source of that voice and finding Nathan walking with an elf. Is that the person who summoned a wolf during the test? She asks inwardly, her face remaining expressionless. But the one walking with him is an elf. She can't help but remember what happened a while ago. She was waiting for the test result in the same spot, so she witnessed how the teacher actually came to Nathan and brought him somewhere. To her surprise, the same student suddenly comes out with an elf. What is it supposed to mean? Did he manage to enroll in this academy? If his talent is bad, does that mean he is smart enough to be enrolled? As they pass by, she can't help but overhear their conversation. By the way, what is your familiar's quality? Quality. Nathan tilts his head in confusion. He can only think of one thing, which Alicia confirms. Yep. Once you become a summoner, you should be able to see a blue screen giving information about your own familiars. There should be name, level, race, and quality. Oh, can you explain it a bit more about them? Let's see. Name and race should be obvious, and we only need them for record. However, level is meant for us to become stronger. Mistress should have told you about the reason why we heed your calls. Right? Yes, it's to become stronger. How do you even increase your level? It's by defeating an enemy and absorbing their core. Half of the world is currently occupied by aliens. These aliens, while weird, have cores inside of them. It's filled with ana. By absorbing the ana inside that core, we're able to increase our level. The second way is to evolve. Take me as an example. I can become a high elf as an evolution. This is what the mistress mentioned earlier regarding requiring a huge amount of resources. So cores are for levels while evolution is for race. Yes, you're smart. She smiles. As for the last one, quality, it's basically the talent measurement for familiars. It's divided into 4 categories. They are basic, good, excellent, and perfect, which are further divided into low, mid, and high tiers. The higher the quality, the more efficient they are in absorbing the cores. Nathan looks down, contemplating. Fenrir is a divine beast, but right now he has the lowest quality. Does that mean Fenrir is not the one I know? Does Fenrir have to evolve? Wait, if it's all related to the amount of ana, can I sacrifice more ana for Fenrir? Will he grow stronger that way? Nathan can't help but ask, Alicia, is it possible if I sacrifice more ana for a familiar? Will it grow stronger? That's a good question. The theory shows a possibility, but no one has ever succeeded yet. Is that so? Nathan looks dejected. It might not work, but it might be different for Fenrir since he is a divine beast instead of a humanoid familiar. Well, he has low-tier basic quality. Ah! Alicia smiles wryly. I believe that you will grow stronger. Thank you. Nathan smiles back. He adds inwardly, Well, he is a divine beast, so I believe I'll get stronger. Besides, I have gotten a safe place for my early development. Since this is my new reality, I'll be bold but careful at the same time. I don't want to die in a stupid way again. Let's see. Based on my experiences in reading novels, the academy arc will usually start with a practical lesson, bullying from upperclassmen, or a brain-rot young master syndrome challenge. Nathan has to prepare for those 3 possibilities within a week, while hoping he wouldn't be the target. That is what he thinks until Alicia's expression turns grim. Alicia turns her head to the academy's gate, finding more than 20 people suddenly barging into the academy. Each of them is covered in black, leaving only their eyes. Stop! The guards summon their familiars, which are an orc and a kobold. However, both the guards and their familiars are suddenly slashed by several people, instantly killing them. Students in sight. Capture them. Alicia steps forth as if trying to cover Nathan. She notices a spider mark on the neck of one of them. Stand back. They are terrorists. Nathan is taken aback. His heart feels like it stops for a second. Just after thinking that the situation would be calm for 1 week, it turns out everything begins with a terrorist attack. I almost forgot that not a single day has passed. This is my unluckiest day, isn't it? There are a lot of questions in his mind, but the priority remains. They need to deal with this terrorist in one way or another. Fenrir. Fenrir hops on top of Nathan's head to get a better view. 22 people, only 10 of them are humans. You can speak. Alicia is startled for a second before shaking her head. That doesn't matter. Can you identify them? Find all the humans. Fenrir smirks and inhales as much air as possible and holds it on his belly. After that, he lets out a cute roar befitting his current form. Waff! Despite such a cute roar, Alicia feels an intense killing intent that makes her feel like she is just a prey before him. Those who don't stop are humans. Alicia snaps back, realizing that precisely 10 people continue moving as if they are completely unaffected by it. With a wave of her hand, a strong gale flows toward for terrorists. 2 humans and 2 familiars. The 2 familiars are clasping their hands. The left side forms a wall made of rock, while the other one creates a curtain of water. The rock manages to block the gale completely, but the water curtain gets pushed back, albeit doesn't completely crumble. However, this is just a distraction. A bow appears out of thin air as she aims at the human that these 2 familiars protect. The moment she releases her arrow, it flies so fast that it creates a small shock wave behind it. The arrow pierces through the curtain of water and disintegrates the human's head. As if realizing her power, 2 other familiars halt their steps. A firebird flies off the hand of one of them. Meanwhile, the other familiar rushes with an axe. Alicia claps her hand as a burst of wind expands in all directions, neutralizing the firebird. However, the muscular familiar closes the gap between them and swings his big axe. She extends her hand to the axe, forming a swirling wind that the axe cannot cut. The muscular familiar is shocked, never expecting that there would be such a strong familiar right at the front gate. However, there are still several people around the main gate. Kya! Help! 2 students scream from the right side, which slightly distracts her. She has to save them, but at the same time, she has to protect Nathan. The situation goes from bad to worse the moment she senses a clash on the opposite side. Blood spear. That's the girl from the Ashton family. Alicia bites her lips. She waves her other hand, trying to hit the muscular familiar with her bow, but to no avail. The muscular familiar blocks it with its big arm, stopping her completely. Meanwhile, Selena is getting attacked by a familiar. She has summoned her own familiar, who happens to be a woman with bat wings on her back. 3 spears made of blood float around her as she shoots them one by one to stop the familiar charge. This unknown familiar is as big as the one that attacks Alicia, but there is a pair of bull horns on top of its head, which cannot be completely covered. The blood spears hit the charging familiar as the latter smashes it one by one, gradually closing the gap between them. The vampire's eyes turn bloodshot as it waves both hands at the same time. All of a sudden, a tornado appears on each hand, pinching the familiar from two sides. The familiar actually catches the blood tornadoes with its bare hands. The vampire tries to apply more pressure, but the enemy is the one gaining an upper hand. At the same time, there is a man's voice echoing from behind them. "Got you, little girl." The vampire is distracted by that voice since it must be the enemy. Now that she loses control over her tornadoes, the enemy familiar rips apart the blood tornadoes. Moo! The familiar charges at full speed. At the same time, the enemy human grabs Selena from behind. "Let go of me." Selena struggles as she is being dragged away. "Selena!" The vampire turns around, only to find Nathan coming from the side and punching the guy in the face. On the opposite side, Fenrir has pounced on the familiar and bit the back of the familiar's neck before tearing it with his sharp teeth. The blood spurts off from the back of its neck as the familiar falls down. The vampire wants to take down the human, but Nathan points his finger at the muscular familiar that keeps Alicia in check. "Help her." The vampire hesitates for a second, but Nathan looks at her with a sincere gaze as if telling her that Selena would be fine. The vampire notices that both the man and the familiar didn't manage to react to their attacks as if everything went according to their plan. It is as if these two were waiting for the right time where the enemies didn't suspect an attack to take them down. The vampire chooses to trust Nathan this time and turns around, pointing her palm at the muscular familiar. Multiple bats made of blood emerge from her palm and fly toward the muscular familiar. They bite the muscular familiar, which causes him to get distracted a little bit. Seeing the gap in his defense, Alicia spins her body and sends a back kick on the familiar's stomach. The wind bursts out the moment of impact, pushing the familiar back. With such a distance, Alicia turns around and aims her arrow at whatever the enemy left around Nathan, only to find him pointing his finger at the girls that are about to be kidnapped by the terrorists. Alicia hurriedly turns around and shoots one of the terrorists. When she is about to take down the second one, the muscular familiar approaches her again. This time, she doesn't fight alone. Two blood tornadoes fly toward the muscular familiar. It doesn't push him back like Alicia's kick, but it forces the familiar to halt and block them. As a result, Alicia manages to shoot the second terrorist, saving the two girls. After that, she forms an arrow with more aim than the previous shots, aiming it at the muscular familiar. Out of desperation, the muscular familiar pushes its axe to the very limit, breaking free from the blood tornadoes. After that, he slashes downwards to chop the arrow that comes straight to his head. To his surprise, the arrow actually curves as if avoiding the axe. It then returns to its original trajectory and obliterates the head. Even though she has neutralized the immediate threat, Alicia immediately turns around and sees the human terrorist trying to beat Nathan from behind. The vampire is taken aback, wanting to help but too late. Selena doesn't even realize what is currently happening. There is aina gathered in that fist, so Nathan would definitely be heavily injured if that fist hits him. Yet Nathan just smiles. "You are a clever brat. If you are normal." Fenrir's voice echoes as he leaps into the air and snaps the human's neck with his powerful jaws. Jason grips two severed heads, his voice cold. "Where do you think you're going?" he asks, eyes scanning the chaos. A centaur bursts onto the scene, horse hooves thundering, blade whirling. He slices the two humans attempting to flee from Jason's grasp. From the left side of the academy entrance, a squad of guards rushes forward. One shouts, "Kill those who resist. Apprehend the rest," as his werewolf companion pins a terrorist to the ground. The other guards fan out, coordinating to subdue the remaining attackers. On the opposite side, massive roots erupt from the earth, ensnaring 3 more terrorists. An elderly druid, his hands glowing, commands the arboreal limbs. He glances toward the roof where Vivian watches, her gaze fixed on the academy's doorway. Vivian closes her eyes, then murmurs, "It seems that he is more extraordinary than I originally thought." She smiles faintly, a hint of pride in her voice. Nathan lets out a long, hollow sigh, his face paling. The stench of blood and the sight of the gruesome corpses churn his stomach. Alicia, noticing the immediate danger has passed, rushes to his side. "Are you all right, Nathan?" she asks, her tone urgent yet calm. Nathan forces a smile. "I'm fine. Are you sure we don't need to chase them?" he replies, still trembling. Alicia reassures him, "Your safety is my priority. The threat here has been neutralized. The school's personnel will handle the rest." Nathan collapses onto his butt, adrenaline draining. "Who are they?" he asks, curiosity battling fatigue. Alicia explains, "They're chaotic cat terrorists, kidnappers who target newly awakened summoners, brainwashing them for their own cause. They chose this holiday to strike because the principal is away." Nathan sighs again, bewildered. "Why would humans attack each other when they share common enemies?" he mutters. Alicia turns to Selena and the vampire standing nearby. "Miss Selena and your familiar. Thank you for your help earlier." Selena shakes her head. "No, I didn't do anything," she says, glancing at Nathan. She never imagined a farmer, deemed talentless, would be the one saving her. The vampire shares the same astonishment. Without Nathan's quick instructions, the battle would have been far longer. Nathan, still on the floor, asks, "What are we supposed to do now? Should we stay here until it's safe?" Alicia nods. "That's probably best. If you don't mind, come with me." Nathan drags himself up, yearning for a bed where he can finally rest after the turmoil of his transmigration. Alicia leads Nathan, Selena, and the vampire toward the school building, the designated safe zone. She bows politely before guiding them into the empty cafeteria. As they walk, she comments, "Good work." Nathan, embarrassed, replies, "I was simply desperate." He hadn't prepared for his first battle, and the aftermath still feels surreal. Alicia hands him a cup of water. "It's fine now if you want to let it out." Nathan blushes. "I'm fine now." Alicia chuckles softly, "Foo-foo," reassuring him that his nerves are understandable. She then addresses Fenrir, the wolf companion. "You are a powerful wolf. How come you only have basic quality?" Fenrir snarls. "Isn't it because he is too weak?" blaming Nathan for the chaos. Nathan snaps back. "What did you say? If my talent lets me summon a divine being, why am I stuck with a furry?" "You're the one who's unreliable," Fenrir retorts. "You wouldn't be here if I hadn't protected you earlier." The argument escalates, with Fenrir lunging at Nathan, shouting, "Give me back the rational human, not this annoying one." Nathan yells, "This is human abuse." Alicia can't help but laugh at their bickering, noting that despite Fenrir's strength and intelligence, he follows his contractor's plan, while Nathan, though not physically strong, is bold and clever enough to solve problems. In her eyes, they make a perfect duo, and she believes they'll only grow stronger. Vivian's voice suddenly echoes through the hallway. "It seems that you are more capable than I thought, my dear student." Nathan startles. Alicia bows to Vivian and calls her mistress. Vivian continues, "Not many students could stay calm in your situation, yet you observed everything carefully and gave instructions to resolve the problem." She summons the elderly druid, then says, "You should go back. He will accompany you guys." From a corner of the hallway, a pair of red eyes watches them. Selena, curious and intrigued. She wonders silently, "Isn't that the vice principal, the forest queen? She called me dear student. Is he her student? If not his talent, does the forest queen see something else in him?" Nathan collapses onto the bed, burying his face in the sheet. "Ha! Finally! Today is so tiring," he mutters, Fenrir leaps onto the mattress, his tone softening. It seems that you have thought about your future plan, he says. Nathan stays silent, eyes glistening. This world is much more dangerous. I can die at any time. On Earth, I was abused by my family, and reading novels was my only escape. Fenrir feels a trace of that pain. I'm not the smartest or brightest, and I'll make mistakes, but I'm not planning to go down quietly. Nathan declares, extending his hand. I don't know what you feel about me, but I'll be relying on you a lot, Fenrir. Fenrir studies his hand, then warns. You better not die. I want to reach the peak and fight those so-called gods and goddesses. Those weird aliens would be good opponents as well. Nathan smiles. Now that I think about it, you're right. Summoners here can call humanoid creatures draconians archangels. There isn't a single human left, is there? Fenrir tilts his head. Is there something wrong about it? Nathan continues. I'm talking about the possibilities that gods and goddesses, though not human, are still humanoid, like Anubis, the jackal-headed man. Mythology from Earth could appear here, even archangels. So the summons aren't limited to fantasy beings. They can be legendary too. Fenrir nods. Either way, I can fight them. I want to test my might against all those powerful beings. Nathan asks, what can you do in your current form? Can you grow stronger? Fenrir replies, I'm about to test it. How about sitting first? I want to see if you can sacrifice more ana. The familiars in this world can't regain strength. They're only trying to become stronger. Nathan notes, understanding the distinction. Fenrir confirms, yes. What am I supposed to do? Nathan asks. Fenrir explains, I've been manipulating the link between us and noticed something. When I came here, I think I only took half of your ana. I'm thinking of getting a bit more. How do you do that? Nathan's body trembles. Fenrir speculates, it might only be possible for two familiars. Two familiars? Nathan repeats, his breath shallow. Fenrir grins. Haven't you thought about that? Why did you take over this body? How was it possible? And why right in his awakening? Nathan's face hardens. The familiar the original Nathan was supposed to summon was me. For some reason I killed him and took over his body. Because we were in the middle of the awakening, I summoned you. Fenrir smirks. I can't sense the original Nathan anymore. But you're also a familiar inhabiting a body. That might be your true power. You can harness both familiar and summoner abilities. Nathan draws a cold breath. What exactly is my ability as a familiar? Fenrir points a paw at the mirror. Can't you see your own quality as a familiar if you look in the mirror? Nathan rushes to the dressing table, stares at his reflection, and the mirror displays his data. Name, Nathan Reckman level, 1 race, human quality, basic, high. He laughs, ah. This is ridiculous. He then asks, what does this contract you mentioned do? Fenrir instructs, close your eyes, focus your mind. You should see something in the darkness. Nathan complies, and a vision appears. Skill, soul contract. Only a single line, yet it answers his doubts. He wonders aloud, why did I come to this world? Why take over the original Nathan's body? Is the contract the price of that body? Does it erase my memory of it? What have I agreed to? Fenrir asks. Can you see it? Nathan pinches the bridge of his nose. I can see one skill. He explains. I have many skills, but most are sealed. I only have 4 weak abilities now. It might be possible. My ability is soul contract. I can't explain it, but I feel I can use it. It's weird. Nathan admits. Fenrir nods. As expected, you're the one who can probably make it true. He extends his paw. Let's test it. I'll offer you my skill Deadly Claw in exchange for 30% of your remaining ana. Nathan hesitates. Are you sure? Losing one of 4 abilities would be a huge blow. Fenrir replies, in exchange you can use my ability. If you get stronger and we fight together, it'll be better. If the contract works, I can grow through it, unlocking more abilities. Resolute, Nathan closes his eyes, concentrates, then extends his palm and mutters, "Soul contract." A golden scroll materializes, unfurling as words appear. Contract * Fenrir offers his skill Deadly Claw to Nathan Reckman. Nathan Reckman will give 30% of his ana. This contract shall be signed by the two parties, Nathan says, pointing his thumb at Fenrir as if asking him to cut it. Fenrir scratches his paw until it bleeds. Nathan's eyebrows twitch, but he endures the pain and presses his thumb onto the scroll. Fenrir does the same, signing with his paw. When both signatures are complete, the contract bursts into flame, and blue particles leak from their bodies, sealing the pact. Nathan inhales deeply. Just like his soul contract, this Deadly Claw doesn't have any explanation either. However, if he had to do it, he feels like he could unleash this power. Meanwhile, Fenrir notices that his ana increased drastically, as if the amount of ana transferred from Nathan multiplied. It seems that this method really worked. Nathan sees both Fenrir's excitement and status. Name: Fenrir level, 13 race, celestial wolf quality. Basic, mid. Fenrir stares at Nathan, who later confirms. It works. It seems that we have found a unique path to get stronger. Fenrir grins. Yeah, I might have to be careful though. If I give too much ana to the point I barely have enough ana to use a skill, it'll be dangerous for me. I know that. It will be better if we have the tool to measure ana accurately. True. Looking at how happy my teacher is, she is probably on the verge of success. We can only wait until she finishes then. Fenrir nods in agreement. Fenrir is the one extending his paw this time, reminding Nathan about earlier. I'll be counting on you. I want to fight a lot. Nathan still feels a lot of things are missing in the theory of him getting summoned here, but there are a lot of things he has to do, such as finding out the content of the contract he had with the original Nathan or simply living to the fullest in this world. Nevertheless, he knows one thing. He couldn't achieve it alone, so he extends his hand, bumping his fist to Fenrir's. I'm counting on you, Fenrir. Me too. They acted casual and believed each other previously, but they confirm it this time. By the way, don't forget to prioritize me and not focus on future women, even if you summon one in the future. An awkward silence hangs for a moment before Nathan vaguely agrees. Oi! Fenrir gnashes his teeth. You horny brat. What do you mean? We don't have a contract about that. I'm going to bite yours off, so that you don't have to think about it anymore in the future. I'll pluck every fur and tooth you have before neutering you if you dare to do that. You stupid dog. I'm a wolf. Nathan picks up the book to learn more about summoners. Although Fenrir doesn't admit it, he also reads the book so that he could get stronger. He realizes that he might be able to get even stronger if he created stronger abilities by combining it with the knowledge of this world or from other familiars. Hence, both of them focus on studying. The next morning, Vivian calls Nathan and Fenrir to the backyard. It is a nice and flat backyard with a big empty field in the middle. It seems that Vivian uses it for sparring from time to time. Vivian asks, "Do you have any preferred weapons?" Nathan looks down, falling into deep thought. A weapon, he muses. Should he go for the sword? Is it too cliché? Should he go for a spear or something unusual like wires? But this is his new reality. If he can't learn it, he might die. He has Deadly Claw right now. He doesn't know what he will get from his future familiars, but he does know he will be fighting with Fenrir for a while. Should he go for a glove or gauntlet that allows him to use Deadly Claw? After some consideration, Nathan explains, I'm not sure. To be honest, I saw Alicia fighting with a bow yesterday. At the same time, it seemed that she could fight barehanded as well. So you don't need a weapon? Vivian ponders. Well, it's true that manipulating ana can give you a power similar to a good weapon, But we also have dwarven blacksmiths that can create weapons surpassing that. I guess it's better to have a weapon. How about gloves? They are not thick, but they can be durable enough to withstand a weapon. She continues, however, it also means that you need good control over your ana. The school should be teaching it, so I won't burden you with so many tasks at once. If you have any questions, you can ask me for extra lessons. How's that? Sounds good. Great. If it's hand-to-hand combat, I guess I'll have to change your instructor. She contemplates for a moment before Alicia appears next to her, asking, how about I do it, mistress? You will do it? Vivian looks surprised. I've taken a liking to the young master. Alicia smiles. You even call him young master now. It seems that you've recognized him. Vivian scratches the back of her head. Oh, Nathan's expression brightens. Getting trained by such a gentle, bright, and mature elder sister is a reward for him. All right, you can do it. Vivian sighs. After seeing how enthusiastic Nathan became, she has no choice but to leave it to Alicia. Wait a bit here. Vivian returns to the mansion and comes out 2 minutes later, tossing a pair of black gloves. They are thin, but Nathan notices the springiness of the material, which would absorb some impact. There seems to be an additional metal liner that could block sharp weapons as well. When he wears it and makes a gripping motion, his movement is a bit restricted, but not something he couldn't handle. Alicia says, for now, the best way to improve is to attack you until you get used to it, especially stopping you from blinking when an attack comes. It's basically useless to teach you martial arts if you end up closing your eyes. I understand. Nathan thought he would be learning some cool martial arts, but this is the reality. He has to start with his foundation. Alicia walks to the middle of the field while explaining, let's see. For the next week, we'll focus on your basics. You and Fenrir will be fighting me and trying to last for more than 15 minutes. Nathan nods. I'll be learning a lot from you, Alicia. 15 minutes, Nathan mutters. Alicia remains still, telling him, you may start at any time you want. Nathan takes a deep breath, trying to find his rhythm. Fenrir also prepares himself. Nathan knows his current form isn't enough to deal with Alicia, so he has to get serious. However, there's one miscalculation anyone could make regarding Nathan. They never expect his first move. He turns around and runs. Yes, he's running away. All of them widen their eyes in disbelief. Did he just run away? Alicia had said he needed to last for 15 minutes, and in Nathan's mind, the best way to achieve that is to run. Where are you going? Alicia hurriedly chases after him. When fighting against an opponent much stronger than me, it's better to run away, Nathan shouts without turning back. Ha 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 ha. Vivian laughs out loud. As she expected, Nathan's way of thinking is surely different. Wait, you can't run away. Your assignment is to fight me. Alicia calls out, about to use her power to speed up, but Nathan surprises her again by stopping. What? So I can't run away? Alicia shakes her head helplessly, feeling like she's being played with. Yes, we'll be polishing your hand-to-hand combat, so we have to fight. Running away is indeed the correct move in a life-and-death battle, but this is only a spar. And that's when Nathan's strike comes. I see. If I can't run away, then, all of a sudden, Alicia feels danger coming from behind. She hurriedly turns around, wind forming around her left hand. Whaff! Fenrir lets out a small roar, which neutralizes the wind around her hand. He comes with an open mouth, trying to bite her arm. Alicia knows perfectly how powerful that biting strength is, so she throws herself to the side, causing her to fall. Fenrir lands smoothly and turns. At the same time, Nathan is also closing in, working together with Fenrir. This is the perfect chance since Alicia hasn't gone up yet. By the time she goes back on her feet, Fenrir has already arrived. She kicks him from the bottom, but Fenrir, who is adept in battle, simply perches on her shin before jumping into the air. At the same time, Nathan pulls his fist, his ana concentrating on the gaps between his fingers. That's... Vivian widens her eyes. Alicia instinctively lowers her foot and raises her two arms to guard. Nathan waves his hand diagonally as if he were sweeping his claws. His ana is extended like claws, hitting Alicia. Wind swirls around Alicia's arm, which blocks the claws. Still, he manages to catch her off guard, resulting in her deploying her wind a little too late. A scratch appears on her arm as blood starts flowing out of it. At the same time, Fenrir falls on top of her head and taps her forehead as if telling her that she would be dead if he used his power. Vivian drops her jaw, her lips slightly curved. She is shocked and happy. Alicia had restrained herself by not using a bow. In fact, she might only use a small fraction of her true strength in this sparring. At the same time, it doesn't change the fact that Alicia should still be stronger than both of them. Vivian thinks. He baited Alicia to chase after him so that he could position Fenrir behind her. Alicia was too focused on Fenrir's jaw strength, throwing her off balance. Both of them attacked. Fenrir must know that Alicia could block it and choose to escape. Meanwhile, Nathan shouldn't be able to do anything against her unless he managed to catch her off guard. Vivian sucks a cold breath. If this was a normal duel, Nathan would be seen as a coward. However, if this was a life and death battle, Vivian closes her eyes. She originally expected that Alicia would beat them up, but while relying on tricks, Nathan still won. It seems that the disciple she took in is more amazing than she originally thought. Did we win? Nathan asks. Alicia opens her mouth to complain, but the words stick in her throat. With a wry smile, she says, "Yes, you've won." Oh! Nathan takes a step back and retracts his power. Fenrir also jumps off her head. "Still, you're amazing." Alicia points at her wound. "You were clueless about summoners, but you already managed to manipulate your ana to this degree. When did you learn that?" Nathan faces a dilemma. He can't reveal the truth about the soul contract. It's true that Vivian and Alicia are his teacher and her familiar, but he just met them yesterday. He doesn't know what they would do if they found out about him being a familiar as well as being a person from another world. On the other hand, he doesn't think they would accept it if he said, "It's a secret." That's why Nathan points at Fenrir and says, "When you used your wind yesterday, I ended up asking him how to do something like that. I tried imitating him yesterday." "Are you serious?" Alicia gasps. Even Vivian comes over and asks, "You imitated him? Do you understand what you're saying?" "Yes." Nathan tilts his head in confusion. "I told you earlier that the academy will be teaching you how to control your ana, right? Looking at you being able to move your ana already, are you a genius? What's wrong? Is that not normal?" Nathan's face is innocent as if he were completely clueless about it. Meanwhile, he also adds inwardly, "Yes, this is it. I'll just make them think I'm a genius or something. If it doesn't work, I can always say that it might be because my compatibility with beasts is high that I'm able to do it. It's a perfect excuse if I fail when they ask me to learn something. It took me 3 days to be able to control my ana." Vivian slaps her forehead before saying, "If you were like this, I might have to change my plan." "Plan?" "Yes, having power is necessary, but don't be drunk with your power, or it'll be over for you. That's why I want you to solve your own problem without relying on me. Of course, I'll answer any questions you have as your teacher. You are a smart boy, so you can come to me if you think that problem is too big for you to handle. I want you to be independent." "Does that mean I have to hide the fact that I'm your disciple?" "No. If someone asks, you can tell them that you're my disciple. But there's no need to explicitly declare that you are my disciple to all people you meet." "Oh," Nathan nods. Vivian turns to Alicia. "I'll change the schedule. Instead of training hand-to-hand combat for 2 hours in the morning, use 1 hour to teach him how to properly control ana. After that, divide the schedule for him to study more about summoners as well as etiquette." "Etiquette?" Nathan points at himself dumbfoundedly. You're my student, so people will know you sooner or later. It's better to have you learn etiquette so that people don't see you as an outcast. Vivian waves her hand while turning around. Take care of him, Alicia. I'll go back first. Yes, mistress. As ordered, Alicia really takes care of him. Whether it's because she lost or because he's on a higher level than she thought, she definitely fights Nathan for real. Nathan is beaten to a pulp. At the same time, he can't deny that his eyes close themselves out of reflex when he's about to get hit. The training gradually makes him get used to it, which allows him to gradually keep his eyes open. After that training, Alicia teaches the basics of ana manipulation for an hour. He can use Deadly Claw because it's Fenrir's ability, but he never understood the ana manipulation itself. He ends up using compatibility as an excuse for his failure. Still, it might be because he can use Deadly Claws multiple times that he manages to learn it in 2 days. There are also etiquette and dancing lessons, which are a bit annoying for Nathan. Nevertheless, he has made a decision to live as Vivian's student, so this is just the consequence of that choice. 1 week later, Nathan finally arrives at his dorm. Due to the school's rules, he has to live alone in the dorm. Whether they are a noble or a prince, they are no exception. Every person gets a similar room. It is a small room with a bed, a shelf, a table, and a chair. I have expected it, but this is truly small. It is actually smaller than my room back on Earth. Nathan smiles wryly. Well, this will be a perfect start for me. I'm not exiled from the dorm or hated by a lot of students anyway. As he places his luggage, he grabs the school uniform hanging on the wall. The school uniform consists of a white shirt, long white pants, and a white blazer with a huge embroidered badge on the chest. I have to attend the opening ceremony after this. He immediately changes his clothes and heads to the grand hall. While heading toward the hall, he notices that there are a lot of buildings around him, one bigger than the other. He has been walking for a few minutes, but he hasn't even reached the hall yet. Where is the grand hall again? Are you sure this is an academy instead of a labyrinth? Nathan mutters while looking at the map Alicia drew for him. It's just a rough sketch which gives him the general direction of where he should go. Are you a new student? An aged voice echoes from the right, startling Nathan. Why, yes. Nathan looks at the old man. He is holding a broom like a janitor. There is supposed to be nothing special about him. However, Alicia didn't only train him in combat but also woke up his survival instinct. And that very instinct is telling him he is dangerous. Much more dangerous than Alicia. What is this? A hidden boss or something? Nathan thinks. He says, Yes, hello. I am a new student. I'm wondering where the hall is. If you are looking for the grand hall, you should continue forward and take the right after that white building. Thank you. Nathan nods and hurriedly walks away. Fortunately, there is only one building right after he turns right. As soon as he enters, he can see about 400 students. He can't recognize most of them, so they must be upperclassmen. Hello. Are you a freshman? A sweet lady approaches him. Yes. In that case, please go to the middle. She points at the seats located in the center. Now that he thinks about it, the seats are divided into 7. 6 of them are located on the edge, while the last one is in the center of the hall. He thinks about getting a random seat after making sure the blonde guy who keeps mocking him isn't in the same row. In fact, he is the only person in this row like an outcast until a certain black-haired girl takes a seat next to him. Nathan is baffled. Someone like her would usually sit at the front along with other nobles. Hello. Selena Ashton politely greets Nathan. I forgot to say it last time, but thank you for helping me. Oh, it's not a problem. Please don't worry about it. Nathan thinks it's special, but it turns out she just wanted to thank him. Still, because they are sitting in the middle of the hall, Nathan can sense the gazes of others from all directions. In fact, he can overhear some of them. So they are the freshmen. There are a lot of famous students, such as August Reeves from the Blacksmith Guild. I heard that his first summon is a dwarf. He might be able to summon an elder dwarf once he gets stronger. Yeah, there is also Prince Rudius, who manages to summon a cyclops. In the future, he should be able to summon a great demon. We can't ignore Selena Ashton from that vampire family. If I'm not wrong, that vampire has the potential of a countess. It won't be weird if she summons a vampire duke before she graduates. It seems that the standard of this year has risen. Risen? No way. I heard that there is a student who has the worst talent. Worst talent? Yeah. During the awakening, he summoned a beast. A beast? Not a humanoid creature. His talent couldn't even summon a goblin? How did he get accepted? Was his family a great noble? No. He was from a normal farmer family. What? Did he cheat or something? I don't know. Maybe some teachers are just trying to use him as an experiment to see what's wrong with his body to make his talent the worst. Ha 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 ha. He won't survive in this academy for long. Yeah. He'll definitely be targeted by many. He'll be destroyed in the Summoner's War. Nathan remains calm the whole time despite listening to their nonsense. With a smile on his face, he thinks, what a cliché conversation. I guess the reason why our seats are in the middle is so that the upperclassmen can observe us, or more like observe their prey. Summoner's War. Ha.